condition of the human being who does not take interest in the personality of Godhead and his transcendental abode Vaikuntha. The human form of life is desired even by Brahmaji. Brahma and other demigods have much better material bodies than human beings. Yet, the demigods, including Brahma, nevertheless desire to attain the human form of life because it is specifically meant for the living entity who can attain transcendental knowledge and religious perfection. It is not possible to go back to Godhead in one life, but in the human form one should at least understand the goal of life and begin Krishna consciousness. It is said that the human form is a great boon because it is the most suitable boat for crossing over the Nissan's ocean. The spiritual master is considered to be the most able captain in that boat, and the information from the scriptures is a favorable wind for floating over the ocean of Nissan's. The human being who does not take advantage of all these facilities in this life is committing suicide. Therefore, one who does not begin Krishna consciousness in the human form of life loses his life to the influence of the illusory energy. Brahma regrets the situation of such a human being. Presents the Bhakti Vedanta purport. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshuram Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktarunda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Lord Brahma, in the last verse, he explained about those who are not qualified to enter into Vaikuntha. So here he is explaining the importance of human form of life, which even demigods aspire to become or to take birth in this human form. Ye abhyartitam apichano nrigatim prapanna. Ye abhyartitam, even the demigods aspire this nugatim, the human form of life, having attained, which is of very importance for them. Jnanam cha tattva vishayam. So when you get this human form, you will understand jnana, the transcendental knowledge, tattvaha, with absolute truth related, saha dharmam, with understanding of all religious principles. Yatra na aradhanam bhagavato, where after attaining this human form, one who does not utilize this human form, na aradhanam, in the worship of the Supreme Personality of Godhead and his transcendental abode, vitaranti amosya sammohita vitataya batamayayate. It is understood that he is very much influenced by the illusory potency, mayayate. He became carried away by illusory potency. So in the purport, Prabhupada is explaining, why does Lord Brahma desire to have human form of life? Brahma condemns very vehemently the condition of human being who does not take interest in the Lord and his transcendental abode Vaikuntha. See, when we got the most fortunate opportunity or the most precious thing, if we don't utilize it for that proper purpose, then we are foolish personalities. So Brahma and other demigods have much better material bodies than human beings. It is said in the higher planetary systems, these four principles of Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Jara, old age is not there. A disease is not there in the higher planets. They have, compared to human form, a very large span of life. Brahma's 1 second is itself is equal to so many years here. So when they have so much life, with always so much youth, with no diseases, no old age, almost like practically they are like always youth. But still they aspire for this human form. Why? Yet the demigods, including Brahma, desire to attain the human form of life because it is specifically meant for the living entity who can attain transcendental knowledge and religious principles. So, jnanam cha atma tattvam saha dharmam, these things are available better in human form. Then, why does Lord Brahma regret the situation of a human being? So, in two perspectives. First, he glorified the value of human form of life. Then he said demigods also aspire for that life. Now he is saying people who have already received this human form, if they are not utilizing it for the purpose what it is being delivered, they are unfortunate. What is that reason he is saying? The human form is a great boon because it is the most suitable boat for crossing over the nascent ocean. So Bhagavatam describes this verse in further verses in the 10th canto, where it says this entire material ocean, the samsara sagara, is compared to this material ocean. And this human body is the boat to cross over this ocean of cycle of birth and death. And the captain of that ship is the commander-in-chief. The captain is the spiritual master. The Vedic instructions and the knowledge about the Lord are the favorable winds for the boat to carry in that direction. The human being who does not take advantage of these facilities in this life is committing suicide. He is Pashugnaha. He is killing his own self. Because he has been given a facility, but if he is not utilizing that facility for that purpose, he is considered as miser. Who is miser? Kripana. Who has money, but who doesn't utilize it for the purpose. What happens? He will store it. After he is dead, somebody else will utilize it. What is the use? You have earned so much and you did not utilize it. The same thing, this human form of life, we have earned it. By our tapasya, by our austerity, we have earned this human form of life. If you don't utilize the facility, we are kripana, we are wasting the opportunity. So therefore, one who does not begin Krishna consciousness in the human form of life loses his life to the influence of Maya. He simply wasting his endeavor. Shrameva hi kevalam. So Prabhupada explains about importance of human life at various places. Some instructions of Prabhupada, one-liners. And next, we'll understand about purpose of human life. So two ideology, importance of human life and purpose of human life. Both will look similar, but there is minute difference in the perspective. The first we'll see what is importance of human form of life. Men must be intelligent to realize the importance of human life and refuse to act like ordinary animals. There are 84 lakh species. How a human being is different from other 80 lakh species? The last verse we saw. Even in the human forms, the civilized human devotees are very rare. So we can understand how rare people with intelligence to understand about spirituality, the opportunity is. Since every second of human life is important, and an enlightened man should be very careful to utilize the time very cautiously. Chanakya Pandit says, Kshanam api na swarna koti na labhyate. Even if you give 1 crore of gold coins, you will not get back 1 moment or 1 second of your time. How do accidents happen? 1 moment, unalertness. If you say, I'll give you 1 crore rupees, that 1 second will it come back? Once done, done. So human form of life, if you don't utilize it, we are wasting this opportunity. Not all human beings are intelligent. So the importance of human life is not always understood. Because many are aborigine category. Even in the 4 lakh species, many are not qualified category as human beings at all. So during student life, the brahmacharis are given full instructions about the importance of the human form of life. Who will teach us? When will we taught? So when we go to a Gurukula, a training under the spiritual master, when you accept tapasya as brahmacharya, tapasa brahmacharyena samena cha damena cha. When you accept brahmacharya, tapasya, you engage in tapasya, samena by control of the mind, damena by control of the senses, by austerity, by knowledge, swadhyaya, all these things and all, we learn these instructions. Lord Rishabhadeva informs his son about the importance of human life. Human life means voluntarily practicing suffering for the advancement of spiritual life. Tapo divyam putraka ena satvam. Shuddhyet yasmad brahma saukyam tvanantam. This is what Rishabhadeva is saying. Tapo divyam. This human form of life is very rare. Animals also have a form. They are also interested in eating, sleeping. But how am I different? Tapo divyam. By tapasya, I can make it transcendental. After realizing the glories of human life, the followers of Vedic literature should take up the mission to spread the importance of human life throughout the whole world. Now we understood? Janma sartaka kari, karo paropakar. You should see that others also get benefited by this knowledge. Thus, every inhabitant of Bharatavarsha can perfect his life by discharging Bhagavad Bhakti and then preaching the cult throughout the whole world for the benefit of everyone. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction this is. And finally, foolish persons without knowing the importance of human form of life spoil it simply for sense gratification and die without any useful purpose. So people who have no knowledge of it, they simply engage in sense gratification and miss the opportunity. See, who are the people who miss the train very often? Those who stay near the station. This is the general psychology. Because train station is nearby, at any time, in 2 minutes I will think I will go. And they are the people most of the time who miss the train. The same thing like the human form of life, we think. There is one perspective Prabhupada explains, I think somewhere. There is a person who used to carry water to the temple. But never, every day, he never goes to have darshan of the Lord. Every day, Lord is being gorgeously worshipped. So many things were happening. He used to pass by that area. And people ask him, Hare, you are next to the temple. Every day you go by that area. Every day you carry water and come. But why don't you go for darshan? It is always available to me. At any time I can go. And he was postponing. One day life itself postponed. He never had a darshan of the Lord. So this unfortunate situation. Now what is the purpose of this human life next? The purpose is the real purpose of human life is to go back home, back to Godhead. Nature gives him the opportunity in the evolutionary process to get the human form. Now here is a chance. Because in animal form you will not be able to understand about God. Only in the human form you are civilized enough to understand about God. The human being is meant for understanding what am I, what is God, and what is my relationship with God. This is the real purpose of human form of life. Athato Brahma Jignasa. Now it is time to inquire. Inquire about what? Who is God? Who am I? What is my relationship? This is the perfect opportunity. The real purpose of human life is to become renounced. No more material body. No more in the accept of cycle of birth and death. No more. This should be the last opportunity. Those in the mode of goodness engage in devotional service and after that they return back home, back to Godhead. Because you have to come to the platform of Sattva Guna. To practice Bhakti, Sattva Guna is a must. Because in Rajoguna, Tamoguna, the opportunity to or inclination towards Bhakti is very little. So you have to become a serious practitioner, you have to come to the platform of Sattva Guna. The best purpose of human life can be fulfilled by worshipping Shadbhuja Murti of the Lord of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Because you have worshipped of Krishna, Rama and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, who is compassionate than other personalities. One's main purpose should be to purify his existence and achieve liberation. That should be the goal of human life. And it is to attain liberation from all material entanglement, to attain spiritual platform. And if you are great fortune, it is your great fortune to be chanting Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. This is the special purpose of human life. See how fortunate it is that we have been blessed with this Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, so that easily and very fasterly we can achieve the purpose of human form of life. To understand this perspective, why demigods want to aspire human form, around 7-8 verses demigod offered their prayers in the 5th canto, explaining about the situation, what goes on in the heavenly planets. They say, Aho amisham kim akari shobanam prasanna yesham svit uta swayam harihi eir janma labdam nrushu bharata ajire mukunda seva aupayikam sprahahinaha. So the demigods, they are offering these prayers, Deva Gayantihi. They are saying, Aho Amisham, how wonderful it is that human beings who have taken birth in this Bharata Varsha, Kim Akari Shobanam, they have executed pious activities of austerity. Akari Shobanam, they have done so many activities of punya that they took birth in this Bharata Varsha. In the past, or Esham Swayam Hari Prasanna, or the Supreme Lord is very much satisfied by their seva. One thing is, they would have done too much punya in the past life, or the Supreme Lord is very much satisfied by their austerity. Otherwise, Bharate Ajire Nrushi Janma Labdam, we demigods also aspire to take birth as human beings in this Bharata Varsha. Because Spruha Mukunda Seva Aupayikam, it will be very easy for us to execute devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Because these already human beings are already engaged in that process. Then people might ask, what is problem with heaven? There the opportunity is there, you have longer life, you have more facilities, everything of exorbitant category, everything of high luxury. Then what is problem? Kim dushkarer naha kratubis tapovrater dhanadibirva durajyayena falguna nayatra narayana pada pankaja spritihi pramusta atishayendriya utsavad. It said, dushkarai. It is very difficult task of what? Kratubihi, to perform Vedic sacrifices, tapaha, to perform austerities and penances, vratai, dana adibihi, to accept vows and to perform charity. Because of that, kim duyajyena falguna, which is very difficult to attain this Swarga, we have attained by performing all these activities. Who can go to Swargaloka? Those who have done sufficient activity, only they can achieve that Swargaloka. So we have done so much things that we have attained now Swargaloka. But what is the value of this achievement? Narayana Pada Pankaja Smriti Nayatra, where we forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead's lotus feet. Too much sense gratification will make us forget the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Indeed, Atishaya Indriya Utsava, because of excessive sense gratification, Shishi Radha Govinda ki, we have become Pramustaha, we have almost forgotten his lotus feet. So this is the problem with heavenly planets. You may have the opportunity of sense gratification that people forgot the lotus feet of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Then further they say, what is so special about this human form? Kalpayusham stanajayat punarbhavat kshanayusham bharata bhujayo varam. Staying for a life of one kalpa in Brahmaloka is insignificant to staying for a moment in Bharata Varsha in a human form. See, understand. Staying for a kalpa in Brahmaloka is insignificant to a moment of human form in Bharata Varsha. Kshanena martyena kritam manasvinaha sanyasya samyanti abhayam padam harehi. Because in a moment, when a devotee in a human form of life, if he can just meditate upon the Supreme Personality of Godhead, samyanti abhayam hare padam, immediately he will go back home, back to God. Katvanga Muni, King Katvanga, he fought for the demigods. So when they became very much satisfied with him, they asked him, what benediction do you want? He said, how much life is left over for me? They said, a moment, muhurta. Muhurta means 48 minutes. Immediately, he left everything, went to his home, sat in front of the deity and he started meditating upon the deity, and he went back home, back to God. This is the first example given by Shukadeva Goswami to Parikshit Maharaj. He said, Parikshit Maharaj, don't feel bad. You got at least 7 days. Katvanga king got only 48 minutes. But in that 48 minutes, he became so much meditated upon the Lord, he went back home, back to Godhead. 7 days is too big for you. Then further they say, what is spirituality? What are these spiritual places? Why Bharatavarsha is so sacred? Why people want to take in this Bharata Bhumi? These places where there are no rivers of sweet topics of the Lord are there, no devotees engaged in service on the banks of that such pious rivers, no festivals of Sankirtana Ajna are there, they are all unfit for residence even if it is heaven also. So yatra, where there is no Sankirtana, no pure devotees, no pious rivers, these places are unfit even it is heaven. Because all the acharyas appeared in Bharatavarsha, all the pious rivers are there in this Bharatavarsha, and all great temples, great personalities, the Supreme Lord himself, all his incarnations came only in India. Bharatavarsha. Then how much we have been blessed to take birth in this area. So what is the problem? What is benefit of this drinking this pure water, river, fresh flowing river water? That's the perspective. When you drink this fresh flowing river water, they automatically revive our sattva guna to us. They bring us close to the Lord. Because all the rivers emanated by some action of the Lord, some story of some pastime connected with the Lord. Like Ganga, how it is emanated. It touched the lotus feet of the Lord. Yamuna, because she got the benefit, Krishna from his birth, he was playing in the water of Yamuna. So she is also sanctified. Like Kaveri, because Yamuna got that facility, Kaveri prayed for the Lord and she became blessed by the Lord, by the Lord's lotus feet. Like that every river has a connection with the Lord. So all these rivers, even by touching that water, we become purified. Because they are all in touch with the Lord. Like you put a finger in that electric socket, what will happen? We will be blessed. The same thing, because connection is there. So by staying in the next to pious rivers, by drinking that pious river's water, by engaging in the association of the devotees, we get that connection. Then how do I retain? Depends upon my battery capacity. How much battery I have, how many volts I can store in that my capacity is different. Somebody's battery is 100 mph, somebody is 1000 mph, somebody is 5000 mph, somebody is 25,000 mph. So depends upon my retaining capacity, that much knowledge I can hold on, that much mercy I can hold. Next further they say, Prapta nrujatim tu ihayeta jantavo jnana kriya dravya kalapa sambritam navai yateran apunar bhavayate bhuyo vanauka iva yanti bandhanam. So dravya kalapa sambritam, Bharatavarsha offers proper land and circumstances to execute devotional service. Consciousness is very pure here. Because of jnana kriya, because which can free one from the results of jnana and karma. Ye jantavaha iha nrujatim prapta. So those who have attained this human form in this Bharatavarsha, navai yateran apunar bhavaya. But in spite of this opportunity, if he does not take to devotional service, Iva vanauka yantihi, he is certainly like a forest animal and birds. Bhuyaha bandhanam, who is careless and are again become bound by the hunter of Maya. You got the opportunity, you got the facility, if you don't utilize it, you will become hunted by Maya in her net. So people who have achieved this human form and does not utilize it in devotional service are wasting their opportunity. It is said that Lord is so merciful, even those who are worshipping the demigods, they get the benefit. Because Lord treats the demigods are my part and parcel of his body. Because you are somehow or other worshipping some part of my body, Lord is so merciful even to the demigod worshippers. Then what to speak of those who directly worship the Supreme Lord? Satyam dishati artitam artito nrunam naivartado yat punar artito yataha swayam vidatte bhajatam anichyatam ichchapi danam nijapada pallavam. Satyam dishati, the Supreme Lord fulfills everyone's desire. Artitam nrunam artitaha, because in distress human beings go to the Supreme Lord and they request for his help, support, and Lord fulfills their desires. But na eva artada yat punar artito yataha, he will not bestow benedictions upon a devotee that will cause him to demand more and more again. Lord is intelligent. He says, if you come to me, it should be only one time you should come. If you come repeatedly, I will not give you something which will make you come to me repeatedly. Material perspective, material desires, Krishna is saying. Because Swayam Vidatte, the Lord willingly, Nijapada Pallavam, for them he will forcefully give them shelter at his lotus feet. Bhajatam Anichyatam, even though that person is not interested to worship the lotus feet, Lord forcefully gives shelter at his lotus feet, so that Ichchapi Danam, and attains, and that shelter satisfies all his desires. So in that way, the Lord blesses the devotees by giving shelter at his lotus feet. So finally, the demigods are saying, Yadi Attarna Swarga Shuka Aveshishtam Swa Istaya Suktasya Kritasya Shobanam Tenajanabe Spritimajya Janma Nahasyat Varshe Harir Yad Bhajatam Sma Tanoti. Yatra, we are living in the heavenly planets. Shobanam, undoubtedly because as a result of our past pious activities. Svistasya Shuktasya Krutasya, of ceremonies, pious activities and yajnas, and by studying of the Vedas, we are all situated in this heavenly planet now. But our lives will be finished one day. So we pray that Swarga Shuka Avashishtam, even if there is any merit which we have performed in our activities during Swarga, Tena Ajanabe Naha, that one day we may take birth in this earthly platform of Bharatavarsha. And Smriti Mad Janma Syad, and remember the lotus feet of the Lord. Harir Yad Varshe, the Lord is so kind that he personally comes to the land of Bharatavarsha. Sam Tanoti Bhajatam, and he expands the good fortune of its people. Because this is the only place the Lord appears in this material world. So it is opportunity that one day if we have done some punya in heavenly planets, let us take birth in this earthly planet of Bharatavarsha, so that we can have the association of the Lord, and we pray that we never forget the lotus feet of the Lord. So this is the mood of the demigods. So how they are aspiring to attain this human form of life, the value of human form of life. So there was one devotee by name Raskan. So he is contemporary of Jiva Goswami's period. Jiva Goswami, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami that time. He is a resident of Vrindavana. Actually, before he was a Muslim man. He is in the family of Mughals, from a Pathan family. So he took birth in the year 1548 in a Pathan family in Pihani village, Hardoi district, UP. His original name was Syed Ibrahim Khan, and he was a resident of near Delhi, because the Mughals were ruling India from Delhi. So because in the royal family, very prosperous, so from his childhood he spent in happiness and affection, because there is no need to work hard to maintain his life. Luxury is there for him. So there was no shortage in his house. So since their family was by default religiously inclined, he too picked up religious sentiments and curiosity from his childhood. So he saw that curiosity, how it led him to worship the Supreme Lord Krishna is his perspective. So one of his ecstatic symptoms, he wrote many poems. It is said, Deki Gadar Hiti Sahibi, Dilli Nagara Masan, Chinnahin Badshah Banski, Tashak Chandi Raskan. Seeing the war in the royal family of Delhi, I have given up the arrogance of being in the royal dynasty. At that time, Aurangzeb was ruling. So he saw the atrocities, how Aurangzeb killed his own family members, imprisoned his father, what the atrocities were going on for him to become the king. He said, I have seen all these things. So now I have left my arrogance that I am a king. Because I saw everything, all the what bad should not happen, everything happening in their own family. So, from his childhood, he was very much attached to one merchant boy. Because of that boy has bodily features, very nice bodily features and all. So, Raskan used to go always behind him. So, wherever that boy goes, he will always be accompanied by that boy. If he goes to home, if he goes to sleep, if he goes to eat. Even so much so that he was so much attached to that boy, he was eating the remnants of that boy. So he became so much carried away that people used to laugh at him. His own family members used to laugh at him. Arey, you are a Pathan, you are a Muslim, why you are running around? A Hindu boy. But he was not bothered at all. One day there were 4 Vaishnavas who were sitting in that area and they were discussing about bhakti to the Lord. So one devotee was glorifying, see, we should have that faith like that boy like Raskan, who was very much addicted to that merchant's boy. If I can have that faith on the Supreme Lord like Raskan, my life will be glorious. So Raskan was going by that area. When he heard his name, he came to them and he asked them, I heard that you are all discussing about me. What is it that you are discussing about? Then they explained the scenario. Then they said, see, attachment to the Supreme Lord is so rare. So like your life, you have been attached to that boy. If you can divert that attention to the Supreme Lord, what your life will be glorious. Like how Chintamani inspired Bilvamangal Thakur. So these people explained about God. They explained about Gopalji, the deity which was going to Madhavendrapuri, the Srinathji deity. So they were all addicted to Srinathji, that form of Srinathji. Then he said, if I have to become attached to the Lord, I should know about his form. Only then I can become attached. Then they started glorifying the form of the Lord and they showed him one photo of Srinathji. So when he saw that photo, he became very much captured. His heart became very much captured. So he became very much influenced. His inquisitiveness to see the deity personally inspired him. So one day he took a horse and he travelled from Delhi to Vrindavan entire night. Next day morning, in an incognito, because a Muslim will not be allowed to enter into the temples. And that too, he is coming from Aurangzeb family. They don't know what purpose he has come here. So in an incognito, he was visiting all the temples in Vrindavana. But he could not find that Gopala deity there. He became very dissatisfied. Out of frustration, he came to Govindakund near Govardhan. There he saw one beautiful temple. So when he was about to enter into the temple, the guard identified that he is not a Hindu, he is a Mlecha person. So he was sent away. So he also went there and sat near the Govindakund lake where Madhavendrapuri sat, and he was thinking, unless Lord gives me darshan, I am not going to drink water, I am not going to sleep, I am not going to take rest. And like that for 3 continuous days he has been waiting there to have darshan of the Lord. I know this is the Lord's house. He is there inside hiding. I want to have his darshan. After relentlessly waiting there and completely meditating only onto the temple and waiting for the anticipation of the darshan of the Lord, 3 days he was continuously in that meditation. So the Lord became very much satisfied, and Lord inspired the head pujari. He was Vittalanada. He was son of Vallabhacharya, who was taking care of the deity. The Lord inspired him that saying that there is one boy who is there at this Govindakund, who wants to have my darshan, but unless he has been properly purified, sanctified by you, he will not get this opportunity. So be merciful upon that boy. Initiate him into the bhakti process. So on the order of the Lord, the Goswamiji went there. He saw that boy. And as soon as this boy saw the Goswamiji coming towards him, he saw as if the Supreme Lord has come through him in that form. He immediately went there, paid obeisances, and he requested him to be merciful upon him, to show, he's saying that I know that Lord is hiding inside that house, please give me an opportunity to have the darshan of the Lord of my heart. Then Goswamiji, seeing his sincerity, then blessed him, then he took him to the Govinda Kund, made him bath there, then he sanctified him by giving the mantra, initiated him into the process, then he gave one more disciple to take him inside and have the darshan. As soon as he went inside, he saw the darshan of the Srinathji deity there, he became mesmerized. His life became fully content. No more, nothing I require in this world. After satisfaction, then after fully offering prayers and all these glorification and all, then when he was about to leave, he saw somebody caught his hand. That was the deity himself caught his hand. The deity asked, where are you going? Now you have come to me, I am not leaving you. Till now you have been hankering for me, now be with me. I am not going to leave you. From that day, he was always there with the Lord. And we all know Krishna is a Nitya Leela person. Even though he is in the form of the deity, he goes outside. So every day he goes out with other boys to herd with the cows. So Raskan used to go follow with him. In the night he used to go with the gopis leelas. So he used to go stand there as a guard. So every day he used to go with the pastimes of the Lord, and when he comes back, he used to write his experience of the transcendental pastimes of the Lord in the songs he used to write down. In that way, he spent his life in Vrindavana, glorifying the qualities of the Lord. Many songs he had written. See, birth is not the qualification, but the opportunity what he got to engage in the devotional service, he utilized that facility. So one of his prayers, Brahmā dhundayo Puranam gayan Veda richa suni chaugune chayan Deko shunyo kabuhan na kahun Va kaise swarup au kaise subayan Terat hari pararyo Raskan batayo na log lugayan Dekyo duro va kunja kutir me Baito pulatatu radhika payan. He says, I tried to find Krishna in various leelas, Vedas, prayers, places, but unfortunately I did not find him. At last, after I tried almost everything and became tired of finding him, he appeared to me at the lotus feet of Srimati Radharani, massaging her lotus feet. So finally he says, Manushya hauto vahi Rakshani Bashu Braja Gokule Ganao ke Varan. So if I get a human form in the next life, if by chance if I take a human birth, he is saying, I wish to become a cowherd of Braja Gokul Dham. Je Pashu Haunto Kaha Bashu Mora Chauran Niti Nanda ki Denu Manjaran. If I become an animal, let me become one of the animals of Nanda Maharaj. Pahan how to vahi giri ko jo daurya kar shatar purandar karan. If I become a stone, let me become one of the stones of Govardhana hill. Jo kaj haun to basero karon mili kalindi kol kadamba ki daran. If I become a bird, let me become a bird in this Kadamba forest of Raj. See his mature realization. If I get a next opportunity, somehow or other, let me take birth this in Vrajabhumi, Vrindavan, and always be associated with the Supreme Lord. He composed various poems and various personalities. So he is saying, O Saki, when Sri Krishna will climb up the attic and play the melodious tune on his flute to call the cows, then we all must put fingers in our ears. I am calling out to everyone and saying, no matter how much someone explains to you tomorrow, because, oh friend, we will not be able to remain conscious after having a glimpse of the smile of Sri Krishna. These are all the ecstatic symptoms what Radharani was going through. We see in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Ujjvala Nilamani and many other places. That flute of Lord Krishna, when it enters the holes of our ears, it drags our heart towards Lord Krishna. The same mood he was expressing, like how a gopi used expressing in separation from the Lord. and in association with the Lord, his prayers and his poems were also in that same mood. So in 1628, he left his body in Vrindavan and attained the Samadhi, divine pastimes. His Samadhi is in Mahavan in Mathura. So one great devotee, like that many great devotees are there. They are all an inspiration for us. How one has to engage in devotional service, even though their births were not in a proper good qualified families and all, but still their devotion, their inquisitiveness have driven them to come to this devotional perspective. So this human form, the demigods were also aspiring. So we should always be we should be taking this opportunity that we have been blessed with this human form under the shelter of Srila Prabhupada to engage in devotional service, to make this life successful, and we should aspire to go back home, back to Godhead in this life itself. So for that we have to work hard and we have to get into that direction. So I'll stop here. Any questions or doubts? ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की, जगत गुरु शिला प्रभुपाद की निताय गौर प्रेमानंद।
శ్రీకృష్ణుణ్ణి చేరుకోవడానికి, కృష్ణ భక్తిని అందరికీ అందించటానికి బృందావనం వైపు ఉరకలేస్తున్న యమునోత్రి. విష్ణుపాదమే తన పుట్టినిల్లుగా కైలాసం చేరుకోవడానికి పరుగులు తీస్తున్న గంగోత్రి. కురుక్షేత్ర ఘోరహత్యా పాపం శంకరుణ్ణి శాంతపరచడం లక్ష్యంగా పాండవులు నిర్మించిన కేదార్నాథ్. సమస్త సాధు పుంగవులకు, ఋషులకు, ఆధ్యాత్మిక సాధనకు స్ఫూర్తినిచ్చే నరనారాయణులను నడయాడిన ప్రదేశం బద్రీనాథ్.
హరే కృష్ణ గోల్డెన్ టెంపుల్ వారి మరో అపురూప కానుక హరే కృష్ణ వాణి ఆధ్యాత్మిక మాసపత్రిక. ఇప్పుడు మొబైల్ యాప్ ద్వారా కూడా సులభంగా పత్రికలు చదువుకునే సౌకర్యం, వార్షిక సభ్యత్వం, భగవద్గీత, భాగవత ప్రవచనాలు, స్ఫూర్తి సందేశాలు, ఇంకా మరెన్నో సదుపాయాలతో హరే కృష్ణ వాణి మొబైల్ యాప్ నేడే డౌన్లోడ్ చేసుకోండి. మరిన్ని వివరాల కోసం కాల్ చేయండి 9188